Hope you're keeping safe out there. So, did any of you manage to catch my last video? It was a review of the Marvel Legends sort of classic comic book version of Doctor Strange. Long story short, it's a heck of a great figure. Really great articulation, fantastic accessories, well sculpted, well painted. Everything was just to a really high standard. Really captured the look and feel of the comic book character without going too overboard and giving us this very classic interpretation of him. Which is something I was looking forward to because I like the classic look for comic book characters. But it did kind of get me thinking of a few things. Mainly, like, Doctor Strange is... as a comic book series, it explores the weirder side of Marvel, with a lot of crossover with horror elements. And in recent years we've had some other Marvel Legends that have also been from this stranger side of Marvel. Most notably we've had Dormammu, which is the arch nemesis, kind of Doctor Strange. We've had two versions in fact. We've had the recent one in the Zenmu Wave, which was the classic look, as well as a more modern Build-A-Figure, though ironically in the comic books he's gone back to his more classic look. Both great. I only own the classic one. Not only that, but in the upcoming Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness wave, we're getting two more classic comic book strange characters. First off, we've got Sleepwalker, a character I never imagined getting a Marvel Legends figure, but I'm really glad he has, because he's a wonderful 90s creation. Basically like an alien who gets stuck in a guy's dreams, and it's his job to police dreams, but also keep the world safe, because he can only come out when his host is asleep. Really odd, but I liked it. And he's still around today. He had a big presence in that Infinity Wars event from a couple of years ago. Not the greatest of stories per se, but it had interesting parts to it, and he was in there. He was a pretty major part of it. But Hasbro actually went, above and beyond and given us a really, really interesting figure. It's, I'm guessing, that Bucky Cap book with loads of sculpted on details, like all the wrappings around his arms, his legs, just all these wonderful details, and that tattered cape that originally came with the Hobgoblin, or might have been Brother Voodoo, but that sort of tattered mid-length cape. And with that alien face, it just looks really, really cool. And I'm definitely going to have to get it because, as I say, character I really like, and I throw a bit of money down on that one. But he's not the only one in that wave who is a dark, strange Marvel character. We have Despair, one of the Lords of Fear. Rather... how can I describe him? Very classic Marvel. His costume is not overly complicated, but he gets across the main themes, which is basically a ghostly, terrifying appearance. And his costume has changed a little over the years, but the main aesthetic has changed, stayed the same. And I really like him because he's been a foe of Doctor Strange several times, Daredevil, Spider-Man. He's always interesting, and his aesthetic is always a nice counterpoint to the really colourful heroes of Marvel. And, just like Sleepwalker, he has a really great looking figure. I think, yet again, it might be that Bucky Cap book, but the head is really, really nicely sculpted, and it's a whole new cape. It's a larger version of, well, not a larger version per se, but it's the same tattered aesthetic as that Hobgoblin cape, but much larger, going down to his feet, with a popped flared collar and the little skull, I don't know, ram skull-esque design for the brooch. I like it. It's, again, it's what I'm definitely going to get. But as I say, with these figures coming out, these figures that are already out, these ones that are coming out, what other figures from the weirder side of Marvel might we get? What other mystic characters, what other horror characters, what other strange characters might we get? And that's what led me to this video. Today I'm going to discuss what weird and dark legends we might get in a video I like to call Stranger Legends. I'm quite happy that turned out, yeah. Anyway, first one on my list. If we've got Doctor Strange, we really need to have the love of his life, Clea. Clea is a fantastic classic Doctor Strange character, the niece of Dormammu. She is in her own right the Sorceress Supreme of the Dark Dimension, where Dormammu comes from. She was originally an apprentice of Doctor Strange, then a lover, then his wife, and they've always been a great couple, except for obviously when comic book shenanigans has meant for them to be separated. But she's always been a staple of the Doctor Strange universe, and her costume design is actually really nice in my opinion. The lilacs and black work together really well, especially with that sort of circular spirally pattern on the arms and legs. I really like the look of it. And she's also getting a bit of a push in the comics at the moment. Following on from the Death of Doctor Strange storyline, which is just finished, she's taken over the role of Doctor Strange, and what's really, I think, quite fascinating is her costume design for that appears to be the one Alex Ross drew years ago for, I don't know if it was for Earth X, it might have been for Earth X or Paradise X, one of those books. But Marvel are bringing that design back to use for her, and I think it really suits the character. It's quite pleasing, to be honest. But yeah, it's a cool design, and really as a character we should get in as a Legends figure. And as far as like what you do with it, I mean, design wise it's not outlandish, so you'd probably go with a basic female book, maybe with some extra shoulder detailing and obviously a newly sculpted head. And really, like, you couldn't go wrong with using that new Shriek body because it's pinless, so it's just smooth all the way around, nothing breaking up the sculpt of the arms or the legs. Would work really well with that pattern printed on it. And speaking of Death of Doctor Strange, in that we had a return of the original Doctor Strange costume in some very convoluted timey-wimey stuff. But we had this costume, which was the original one Doctor Strange wore when he first appeared, before he eventually got his updated Eye of Agamotto and the Red Cloak of Levitation. But that'd actually be really nice to have as a figure, and it wouldn't be that hard to do, I don't think. Because, like, the figure I reviewed the other week is a great base. So if we take this classic design, really apart from the cape and the Eye of Agamotto, it's exactly the same. So we take that classic Doctor Strange figure, and all you really need to do is just give it a new cape, a new Eye of Agamotto. And this is just like a really quick mock-up of what something like that might look like, but I think it looks really, really interesting. I think it's a design that a lot of people might want on their shelves, but it's not one you really have to get. So it might be good for a wave filler, because like it's not going to cost Hasbro much to just design a new cape to go over the body they've already designed and sculpted and what the tooling for, with a paint pattern and scheme they've already got. They'd be silly really not to do this one. And another Doctor Strange one. We've got obviously the love of his life, the earlier version of Strange, one of his nemesises, whatever the word is, Baron Mordo. Very, very classic Doctor Strange villain, like the first villain he ever fought as Doctor Strange. First villain he fought even before he was Doctor Strange, really. But he's at the counterpoint of Doctor Strange. And his costume design, just his character design, really is interesting. It's lots of greens, blacks, very sharp edges, sharp collars, should I say. And it's an interesting design. And as far as making a figure would go, it'd probably be like a majority. The majority of it would probably be new tooling. Go for a basic book underneath. Maybe the Bucky Cap book, or maybe Spring for the Sunfire one. But just give him a cape, a new piece for the tabard / loincloth, his distinctive, very spiky curled shoulder pieces that sort of go into like they sort of mirror the appearance of Doctor Strange's hood, and obviously a new head sculpt. But if you're going to do a wave, or you're going to do more legends which are based around the weird and the more occult of Marvel, you can't go wrong with basically the counterpoint to the Sorcerer Supreme. And I think it'd be a very, very interesting figure to have on people's shelves, especially if they've already got that classic Doctor Strange. And how about another Strange villain? Nightmare. That'd be a good one. The literal Lord of Dreams, or Lord of Nightmare, shall I say, in the Marvel Universe. Very interesting design. It's ostensibly just like a very green, completely green costume with a pale-skinned, dark-haired, red-eyed man. But yet again, it's got that dark, gothic and horrific design that I quite like for some of Marvel's dark, mystical stuff. I mean, Nightmare is such an stylish, shall we say, and such a boss that he actually goes around on a literal nightmare. A giant black steed, which, I don't care what you say, any figure that can ride a horse, or any figure you can display on your shelf, shall I say, atop a jet black horse, it's just going to be a stunning piece to have on display. And as far as like making a figure form goes, his basic costume is green on top of more green, but the sculpting of it isn't, well, the design / pattern of it is normally drawn as a crosshatch, like little squares. So I guess if they wanted to, they could use the basic body that came with the Mysterio figure, because that's the square patterns on it. They might be slightly too big, but you could probably get away with it with fudging scale slightly. And he's got a large tattered cape, so reuse that Hobgoblin one. I mean, you could really possibly get away with using the one they used for Despair, except that clasp and that brooch at the front are a bit too distinct. But yeah, no, put the Hobgoblin cape on there, a new head sculpt, a few new details like the belt or some pointy feet. I think you have a really nice figure there. And okay, it is something that's very self-indulgent, but still on track with the dark, mystical nature. Ghost Rider. More specifically, the 90s Danny Ketch version of the Ghost Rider. The really, really cool sort of like biker leather chains, spikes, the big flaming tyres with like big sort of skull designed front of the bike. The original Spirit of Vengeance, the one like, if people think of Ghost Rider, this is probably the one they're thinking of because he was everywhere in the 90s, because he was just, as a great man once said, he's a brilliant tattoo to have, and he's a brilliant design to look at in books. And nothing's really cooler than, a bike with a flaming skull on top of a flaming motorbike running through the city. That was peak 90s, and god damn it still looks good. I mean, I still remember when Ghost Rider would appear in the cartoons I was watching as a kid. Like, he had an appearance in like a one panel-y shot type thing in Wolverine. He had a really kick-ass appearance for like 20 seconds in the Fantastic Four taking down Galactus. But I think the one that I sort of like saw him the most of was in the Hulk cartoon, where he had a whole episode as him being like the guest character, and that was just fantastic, and probably one of my favourite episodes of that series. But yeah, because we've already had the in the Legendary Rider series, we had the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. That was okay. I didn't manage to pick it up. I couldn't get it while it was available, and now it goes for silly money. But something like that, if we could get the Danny Ketch design with his classic bike, or should I say with his 90s bike, that'd be great. And I mean, consider, seriously, if the Cosmic Ghost Rider can get a almost entirely bespoke figure and bike made within like a year or two of him first appearing in comic books, why the hell can't we get Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider? It makes no sense why that will get one, and we're still waiting for a good Johnny Blaze. Oh, yeah. Seriously, Hasbro, just give us Blaze. Sorry. I mean, just give us Danny Ketch. Danny Ketch is the design I want. Yeah, no more look. They'll release another Blaze now. I've said that. But yeah, and probably the last one I was thinking of, Lilith. If I can say that right, Lilith. Yep, Lilith, Queen of Demons. Literally the mother of all demons in Marvel, or mother of all. How can I say this? She's the mother of a load of demons called the Lilin. And all the Lilin are demons. Though admittedly not all demons that exist in Marvel are Lilin. Though she takes the title of Mother of Demons, I think, actually more than Queen of Demons. But she's got a really, very 90s design. It's all fishnets and thigh highs and a very pointed head. A very odd design, but it still works. It's just so 90s. It's so 90s dark, mystical Marvel, like the Year of the Midnight Suns. And in fact, she was like the main antagonist in that series. The one that all the characters had to sort of band together to defeat. And I had a few of the books back then, and they were really good, and she was really good in them. And I enjoyed the hell out of them. And having that villain on the shelf to go along with your Doctor Strange, your Blade, your 90s Morbius Marvel Legends figure, and if they do give us a Dan Ketch Ghost Rider, that would be amazing to go with it, and maybe fudge some of the characters using existing legends. But having her would just be brilliant to have on the shelf as a. Let's face it, you don't get many female villain characters in Marvel Legends. She'd be nice to have. And yet again, her design pretty easy to bring into comic books. I mean, most of the uniqueness would be the head sculpt. Her body itself could easily be painted onto a female book, and just like Clear, probably work best on that new Shriek one because there's no pins to break up the sculpt work. And oh yeah, also that figure's got double jointed elbows, something I keep forgetting, because like Marvel Legends don't get double jointed elbows on their female figures for a long while. And this like Shriek book, just fantastic. The more figures we can get in that thing, the better. But yeah, folks, that was it. Just a few ideas I had for dark, strange Marvel Legends that we could get, hopefully, in the next few years, especially with the Multiverse of Madness coming out, the popularity of things like WandaVision, the mystical side of Marvel being more popular along with the MCU fans. I just really want to see some more of these dark legends being released. So if you like the video, please leave a like. If you've got any ideas of your own or any comments you want to leave, please leave a comment down below. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe for more mediocre contest. God damn it, every time I get this wrong. More mediocre contents at best. Why is that so hard to say? Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, I want you all to stay safe, stay sane, and keep on rolling. And I'll see you all next time. Ta-da!